This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning to all of you. Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, I think there is a lag what I am speaking and the reply from your side. There is a lag in the network system, na? So I will try to make my lecture as slow as possible and so that you may understand. And the briefing is like this. In my first session, I will take up the theoretical part where we will study what is industrial automation and its components. And after that, in afternoon session, because today I have three sessions, and I think I may not get you bored, and I will try to make the session as interesting as possible from my side. So I will start with the introduction to industrial automation, what automation is, why we need it, what is its advantages, and what are the various components that are required for the industrial automation system. And then we will pick up the PLC, the one component for the industrial automation system. And based on these PLCs, we will take in second lecture S7 1200 series of uh, S7 1200 series of Siemens. And we will try to make very basic small program on the TIA portal so that you may be able to know how to make the program. And if time permits, then we may also do for the simulation part also for that program. Then we will go in last topic. We will go towards the robotics, where in robotics we will take particularly one SCARA robot that is used for industrial systems. So we will take one by one and then try to complete the programming part, make the small program for the robot, how to program a Mitsubishi SCARA robot that we have. And in between, to change the favors, I will show you few videos or something, some stuff that may makes the topic very interesting. All right, ready class? Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope the class, all participants are either from multiple trades, electronics, electrical, mechanical, or all are from electronics.
Sir, this is Deepak SK from Kerala Agriculture University. My major domain is farm machinery and power engineering as a faculty of
Okay,
agriculture and engineering.
agriculture. Okay, sir. Then I understand that there are we can say persons from multiple fields, and we will try to I will try to explain each and every aspect because the session is somehow technical, and in this I will try to make that everybody from every field should understand the what the components are and how we are using all these components and how can we design the instruments based on these components, how we integrate the components so that a agriculture system in agriculture we can design the systems. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
now, what is industrial control system and industrial automation? Everybody is aware that the time it has come. If we have to meet our production requirements, we have to switch towards the industrial automation. And with this space, there is one thing that is Industry 4.0. It is there in the market. This is the very new concept in Industry 4.0, and everybody is talking. And if we have to compete China in production, so we have to install robots in each and every factory in each and every industry. So with that concept, industrial control system is a collective term which is used to describe different types of control systems and associated instrumentation. There are different control systems and there are instrumentation and control systems which include the devices, systems, networks and controls used to operate and or automate industrial processes. What does it mean? It means that it has the devices, it can be sensors, it can be input output devices which can get the input and which throw away the output to the output system. In systems, what we can include in systems, your pumps, your motors, your whatever the mechanical systems we can get and displays, these are the systems that we get at the output. And networks, in networks, we can say that the various protocols that we are using for the communication, that the protocols that we are using for the communication between the devices, it can be RS-232, RS-484, your Ethernet, your Profinet. There are many protocols that are available. And next is the controls used to operate. Controls means there are the devices which are used to control all these systems. It can be your SCADA software, it can be your PLCs, it can be your distributed control systems. All these are a part of a control used to operate and automate the industrial process. Depending on the industry, each industrial control system functions differently and are built to electronically manage tasks efficiently. Means whatever the specific task is for that industry, whether it is a paper industry, whether it is a automobile industry, with whether it's a petroleum industry, based on that we provide the equipment and the tasks are being done as per their requirement. Today, the devices and protocols used in ICS are used in nearly every industrial sector and critical infrastructure such as manufacturing, transportation, energy, and water treatment industries. There are several types of ICS that most the most common of use are SCADA. I think few of them have heard about the SCADAs and the distributed control systems. We will discuss it later what they are and what are their definitions. Then local operations are often controlled by so-called field devices that receive supervisory commands from remote stations. There are the devices which receives the command from where your ICS they receive the commands and they perform the action. This is the industrial control system. We are, I think the screen has been shared. Is it, everybody can see this screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clearly, yes.
Okay. So here it is if I talk about a complete plant, I am not taking the specific application of a plant. If I am talking about a plant which has the ICS and has the industrial automation section, then what can we can see here there are three major blocks are there. First is the production network. In middle, it's a supervision network, and at last, it's a corporate network. Now you see, whenever if I have to, this is the example of a oil production industry, and we can see that in the production network there is a well is there, oil production well is there from where the oil is being extracted, and it has a PLC1 and PLC2. Means two PLCs are there that are used to give the control action for the well and for the pendulum or the for the pendulum of the well to dig out or to extract the oil from the well. And from these PLCs, one workstation is there to which they are giving the data. And from this workstation, the data is again circulated. It is again given to remote terminal unit, the upper side of the remote terminal unit. And this is through a communication pipeline. And communication pipeline, it depends on the nature, what kind of infrastructure is available there. And generally we use all kind of networks, wireless network as well as the wired network. Both networks are preferred at the site. And from here then it goes to supervision network. Then the supervision network where a supervisory kind of people they sit there, and from this supervisory kind of people they supervise, they manage what is going on, what data is coming, and from here we can again give data to the corporate network. Now the corporate network, it is sitting somewhere in other country, from where they monitor how much production is today, and supervisors they monitor at the supervising network how many pieces they have gone faulty, how many pieces have some problems, what kind of problems are there. And corporate network, it gets the overall data. Suppose production complete, you can say the production manager of the whole assembly is sitting at the corporate network. He looks into that how many lakh barrels of oil has been kept out, has been drawn out from the wells, and in which well how much oil is left, what are the conditions here, temperature conditions are there, how is the humidity conditions are there, whether the pipelines from where the oil is being supplied, crude oil is being supplied, are they okay, walls are functioning well as per their requirement, is there any leakage in the pipeline, how much is the pressure, means everything is there. And then there is the ERP server is there where the reports they are going to be saved. This is the example of a complete, if I talk about a complete production plant of oil extraction. And there is no restriction of distance. You can access it anywhere, either on your mobile, either on your system, wherever you are. Now, if I talk about the example, industrial automation can be defined as the use of set technologies and automatic control devices that results the automatic operation and control of industrial processes without significant human intervention and achieving superior performance than manual controls. Means why we are making the things automated. We are making automated because we want less human intervention. The less the human intervention is, the less the chances of mistake or error are there. Either your failure in machine occurs or there is a fault in machine occurs, then only there is a chance of failures. Otherwise, there is no chance that your production will stop, and it will go on 24 by 7. And the person, only one person is required who is responsible only for the monitoring aspect, even not for the monitoring, because the alarms are already generated, alarms are there, and the data it is coming, thing is only to see whether the data it is coming it is correct or not. If it is not, then the alarm is generated, and that alarm it again, you can say, wake up the person who is responsible that there is some problem, and the person can go and rectify it. In industrial automation control, a wider number of process variables such as temperature, flow, pressure, distance, and liquid levels can be sensed simultaneously. All these variables are acquired, processed, and controlled by complex microprocessor systems or PC-based data processing controllers. There are the specifically designed controllers which will take care of all these processes. Automation is the use of control systems and information technologies to reduce the need for human work in the production of goods and services. Now we can see automation everywhere. When a guy who is having your parcel from Amazon, he comes at your door and he delivers you the parcel, and you just sign it on the mobile phone. The moment you sign it, you get the message that okay, your parcel has been received. How is it possible? This is only possible because of automation. Means human workload or human intervention is reduced to the minimum. Hello. Hello. And next is, here again there is the example. The above figure shows the power plant. Hello. कितने बजे मैम? ठीक है मैं 5 मिनट लगा. ठीक है. And this figure shows the power plant automation provided by the Siemens for achieving sustainable, safe and economic operations. Now this is the example of a power plant where the power plant is being controlled automatically. It provides the total integrated automation now means there is very less human intervention here by automating every section of power plant with efficiently controlled devices, field sensors and actuating devices. We will study what are field sensors, what are actuating devices in our coming presentation. In this automation, we will cover one of the schematic module are used to control the devices. Schematic module means it's a input output modules, and WinCC provides an efficient graphical interface. Now WinCC is it's a SCADA system which is developed by the Siemens, and this is used to automatically control the system. And schematic modules means the PLCs which are designed by the Siemens, they are being used. Now here you can see transformers, switch case, operations, cooling tower, process control, superheater, turbo set, process control, everything is automated. There is nothing where a human can come and can interfere. And even a human, if wants to interfere, then automatically the alarms will generate and the power plant will shut off, and the turbines are there or where the machinery is there. And if somebody by chance or by mistake, it may come in the area that is restricted and very near to the machine, and there is a chance that the accident may happen, the curtain walls are there, and these walls will automatically shut down the machine. It will not take any chance or it will not harm the person. Now you might have seen there are many accidents then when the persons, they are amputated from either leg or from their arms, that somebody says that, oh yeah, this person was working on that machine and it is only because of this machine that he got amputated, his hand is amputated. No, there is no chance. There are curtains are there where the lasers are there, and these laser beams, they flash light continuously on the receivers, and whenever a person intervened in between, automatically the machine shuts down, and this saves the life of a person. And so that's why these companies are claiming that they are the Six Sigma companies. There are 12 Sigma companies are there. Now we are talking about industrial automation. Why the industrial automation is important? First thing is to increase the productivity. Now if 100 humans can work, then one SCARA robot, it can work in the production as compared to the 100 human beings. And automation of factory or manufacturing or process plant improves production rate through a better control of production. Your production is better, you can get better results, your output is high. It helps to produce mass production by drastically reducing assembly time per product with a greater production quality. The quality of the production is very much higher as compared to the production of the quality when the human beings, they work in a plant. Therefore, for a given labor input, it produces a larger amount of output. Through output is very much higher to provide optimum cost of operation. Now, integration of various processes in industry with automated machinery minimizes cycle times and effort, and hence the need of human labor gets reduced. Thus, the investment on employees has been saved with automation. Definitely, if the most important part of every organization is the salaries, if there are less number of employees, then and the system is automated, and most of the benefit or most of the revenue, it goes to the organization. To improve product quality, since the automation reduces the human involvement, the possibility of human errors also gets eliminated. Unfortunately, the product quality with a greater conformity can be maintained with automation by adaptively controlling and monitoring the industrial processes in all stages, right from inception of product to an end product. Means right from the beginning to an end product, the shape of that product with an industrial control system is definitely, it matters. It has the better efficiency, the product, the finishing of that product, all these things are well. Next is to reduce routine checks. Now the maintenance department is there. If there is a, you can say, petroleum plant is there where the refinery is there, and it has minimum 20,000 valves are working at a time. It is not possible for the inspection team to visit and check each and every valve daily. So to reduce the routine checks, we are using automated control systems. Industry 4.0 is there, where there is the sensor on every valve or every any machine or every device, and this sensor, it gives the information that now your service is due, oil needs to be changed for the machine, your gas they have worked for this much thousand of hours, it needs to be changed. So it has reduced the total human intervention. Now this is the basic, very basic hierarchy which will cover our today's topic. It's a industrial automation system. And if I talk about, I will starting at the information level. No, not at the information level. We will start from bottom to top hierarchy. Field level sensors are there. You can see AC, DC motors, valves, relays, sensors, and barcodes. Everything, all these things are there. Barcodes, it can be scanned by vision system. Sensors are there for temperature, pressure, humidity. Relays are there to actuate the outputs. It can be motors, it can be turbines. Valves are also being actuated using the relays. Then control level is there. In control level, you can say PLC is there. CNC machine is also there. Computerized control machines. Robots are there. These can be controlled. Next is the supervisory and production control level. Now, what this level is? Suppose a supervisor, he is placed at each machine. If I talk about a L'Oreal plant where the shampoo is being manufactured and it is poured into the pouches, then a single supervisor, he monitors the machine, and the machine, it fills, if I talk about, 60 pouches per minute. And you can imagine how the production they are generating the production. And now for that machine, how many production is there, what is the fault in that machine, that supervisor, he has the control, and he has the control only to operate that machine. And he doesn't mean the control that how many pouches they are faulty, where is the leakage, only about the machine. Now next is the information level, where plant production manager is there. And this plant production manager, he has to get the data for every machine, and he has the centralized data system where the information is being gathered. Here we can this is better explained. At field level, it is the lowest level of automation hierarchy, which includes the field devices like sensors and the actuators we have already discussed. The main task of these field devices is to transform the data of processes and machines to the next higher level of monitoring and analysis. And also it includes the controlling of process parameter through actuators. Next is the control level. This level consists of various automation devices like CNC machines and the PLCs, which acquire the process parameters for various sensors. The automatic controllers drive the actuators based on the process sensor signals and program or control techniques. Supervising and production control level. In this level, automatic devices and monitoring systems facilitates the controlling and intervening functions like HMI, supervising various parameters, setting production targets, historical archiving. Historical archiving means what the various data analysis, the form of graphs, the PERT charts, or the production is going on, and setting machine start and the shutdown. Now you can see here the most important thing is that supervisor is only responsible for start and shutdown of the machine. Okay, and this is in the hands of a programmer, how he is designing the system, that what rights he has to give to the supervisor of a plant or supervisor of a machine. Everything is being controlled. Information or enterprise level, this is the top level of the industrial automation which manages whole automation system. Now, how the whole automation system is going on, the tasks of this level include production planning, customer and market analysis, sales. So, and here the most important thing is the communication network can be different one level to other. Some of networks include 485 CAN, controller area network, device net, foundation field bus, Profibus. These are all the communication protocols where you can transmit your data. Of course, wireless network is also a part of this network. Now, if I talk about basics about the industrial automation systems, class, are you getting what I am saying? What is being here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it approachable to everybody? The information is being passed.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. All are
Okay.
pending.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Because why I am in between talking like this? Otherwise, I would have imagined that I am only in the room and talking, and there is nobody in front of me whom I am delivering the lecture. So, so virtually this is the problem, that sometimes the tutor, he feels a, you can say, a lag, that there is nobody and I am talking alone in the room. Okay. So next
Sir,
is
do we
We
open
are all
the
here only.
chat box? Yeah, they
yes,
can
ma'am.
ask some questions if they have. At this instance, if they have some questions, they can ask. Vijay, is chat box is open?
Yes, you can ask.
Yeah, parallelly. Just for 5-10 minutes, you enable the chat. If they have any queries, they can text and sir can reply accordingly.
Enable कर दिया मैम.
Please, sir. Yes, please, participants, you have any doubts or anything you want to discuss, please type in chat box. Sir, there is question in chat box.
I am replying, ma'am. See, it depends on the requirement where you want to use DCS as well as the SCADA. Now, if I take the example, I have a very small plant and I am more interested in the data. If I talk about in my bio briefing, it was there that I had worked on a hydroponics project. Okay, everybody knows the hydroponics project. I tell you, it is it's a system where you can grow the plants in a soilless media where there is no soil. Okay, so a poly house is there, and I have to control the various parameters, control and monitor the various parameters of that poly house in agriculture. And that parameters can be temperature, it can be the humidity of the poly house, or I have to maintain the temperature of the water which is circulating. And another thing is the electrical conductivity and the pH. Okay, so if I want that system and I want the data on my system, then simply I can use the just give me a minute. Class, can you spare me 15 minutes? Can you spare me for 15 minutes? I have to go urgently, and within 50 minutes I am coming. It is 11:23. I will be ROM. I will be back at nearly after 15 minutes. Okay, I have to go
Okay,
very
sir.
urgently. Eh?
Yes, sir.
I will take up your question after coming back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please, for 50 minutes, you can also take the break.
Hello, Vijay. Hello,
Hello. Yes, sir.
Vijay.
हाँ जी
हेलो
मैम
विजय.
बोलिए.
यस,
बोलो मैम.
हम ना 10-15 मिनट्स की ब्रेक दे देते हैं, राइट?
तो मैम मीटिंग ऐसी ही चलती रहेगी. अदरवाइज वी विल नॉट एबल टू मैनेज द
हाँ हाँ,
वेंडर्स
नो
क्योंकि
इशू, नो इशू, नो इशू. वेंट फॉर, मतलब किसी ने अगर कुछ काम करना है, ये पार्टिसिपेंट या देयर इज स्मॉल वर्क, प्लीज. सर गॉट बिजी फॉर 10 to 15 minutes, so you can take a break for 15 minutes and please rejoin then. Is it okay? Vijay, you can text in WhatsApp group also. So as soon the meeting resumes, so we will text a message. Maximum it will take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
So it will be raising at 11:45. When it will resume, ma'am? 11:40 or 45?
नेटवर्क चल रहा है तो वहाँ वो
हेलो
हेलो मनदीप सर
जी जी सर.
ओके सर यू कैन कंटिन्यू सर
ओके जी, ओके, थैंक यू. Class, everybody is back. Now the question was, first question was where we use DCS and SCADA. And I was taking the example of aquaponics system. Too many questions are there, and I will take one by one. We were on first question. Suppose I have to get the data from single PLC. Then I can use the SCADA system. Where there are multiple number of PLCs, I have to get the data from multiple PLCs. Then I have to use the, not the DSC, it's a DCS system, distributed control systems. Okay. In that plant, if I have only one PLC which monitors only temperature and pressure of polyhouse, then it's okay that I can use SCADA with that PLC. Now, if I want, there are 20 sensors and each sensor is at distributed place, and there is a dedicated, or you can say there is a separate PLC for every sensor. Means to get the data of 20 PLCs, I have to use the DCS systems. This is the major difference between DCS and the SCADA. Okay, SCADA not support many PLCs. Next is, please tell me the level of implementation of Industry 4.0 in industry and the scope of job opportunities. Yes, it's a very wide scope Industry 4.0. Nowadays Industry 4.0 is replacing all the automated systems. I had earlier talked that when a sensor is see, there is one, you can say, if I talk about a CNC machine. Okay, CNC machine has to do the turning, it has to do the turnings, and it is programmed for making the nuts and bolts. The maintenance engineer who is there, he has to maintain the sheet of that machine. Today I have changed the pump oil, today I have changed the pneumatics oil. Okay, today I have changed the hydraulics oil. And this, suppose there are 10,000 hours for the bit which is responsible for the turnings into the nuts, or which is responsible for the cutting of the iron bars. And how you will keep the record that now it has completed 10,000 hours, now its wear and tear is going to take place. It is only Industry 4.0 which give you a set of sensors which are placed on the machine, and they automatically will tell that today the machine has worked on this on this much hours. Now it has worked on this much hours, and now it has completed 20,000 hours. Means this is Industry 4.0, and it has a very wider scope nowadays. Thing is not that only the switching using the PLCs. Now thing is, people are thinking on the data. Data is a oil now, and to get the data you have to switch to Industry 4.0. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to analyze the effects of your plant or analyze the effects of your industry. Clear? And another question is, this is another question is from Microsoft account to everyone. Please, my personal advice is, whenever you write such things, Microsoft account, always try to write your name so that the person who is giving your answers, he can tell you. I think Dr. S. Gopinath, sir, is it clear to you about Industry 4.0? Okay, sir is not there. Next is, IoT can replace DCS and PLC in industrial automation. Of course. हाँ मैम वो मैं अच्छी क्वेश्चन के आंसर दे रहे हैं तां करके मैं नहीं कर रहा And another thing is, there is a question from Microsoft account. IoT can replace DCS and PLC in industrial automation? Of course, they can. Because the basic working of DCS, PLC, IoT, it is same. But the question is, your IoT systems, they are not as reliable as compared to the DCS and PLC systems. Okay. You can use DCS, PLC in any environment, any condition, with tough to tough conditions they will survive, but your IoT system will not survive. This is the main difference. So that's why the PLC and DCS systems are costlier as compared to your Arduino based IoT systems. And one thing I have seen the industries where PLCs are working from last 30 years, 3030, but your IoT system will not work for 30 years. Next is Amrinder Kumar Karan. IoT is for communication, not for control and sensor. No, I don't think so. IoT, it covers the control system as well as the sensors are also there. You go to the Arduino. Arduino board is a complete example of your IoT system where sensors are there. You can get the data is fetched, and again it is transmitted to the cloud. Either it is a ThinkSpeak, whatever the cloud is. Then it's again a complete system. Okay, IoT is not for the communication. It's a complete device which is coming, and we are calling it as a IoT. This is Dr. S. Gopinath is again saying, I think IoT may be enhanced level of communication wirelessly. Yes, it is there. But sensors and all these, they comprises of IoT system. That's why it is called Internet of Things. Yes, this is agreeable where Amrinder Kumar Karan is saying IoT is one of the key component of embedded system. Yes, embedded system is the mother of all these control systems. Okay. Is there any rug board instead of normal Arduino so that it can be used in IIoT? This is Shin Mohanan. Sir, for IIoT, you have to shift towards the automation, SCADA, PLC, and all these things. There is no other rugged system as compared to the PLCs. This is the only answer here. If you can work out for smaller applications, then you can use Raspberry Pi and all these boards, but even they are not as much rugged or as much you can say efficient as your PLCs are. Clear? I think things are clear now. We move towards our next part of the presentation. Here it is. Next is the types of automation system. Now see here, this is a very basic example of automation system. This type of automation, it's a mechanical system. Mechanical system is where it is working, only the mechanical movable parts are there, there is no electronic system. This type of system is employed to perform fixed and repetitive operation in order to achieve production rates. You can see this is the best example of where you can mold the sheets. Have you ever seen the molding press? It is a kind of that mechanical system where there is no electronics, only one motor is there which is pressing the piston, and that piston, it is changing the shapes of your metal sheets. Once it is employed, it is relatively hard to change or vary the product design. Means it is dedicated design, you can't change it. If it is designed as a molding press, then it will work as a molding press, it will not perform any function. Therefore, it is inflexible in providing product variety but increases efficiency with higher production rate and reduces unit cost. It is natural. The more the automated system is, the more is its cost. The more the mechanical system is, lesser is its cost, but it is more heavier as compared to the electronic control systems to get the work done from the fixed on hard automation. Next is the programmable automation. Now, this is the second stage. In this automation, a specific class of product changes, and also assembling or processing operations can be changed with the modification of control program in the automated equipment. Now, what you have done, it was the same machine that you have seen earlier, but now we put the automation in it. Now with this automation, you can make this machine to work for many applications. The automation is best suited for batch production process where product volume is medium or high. Of course, it is there, but in this, it is hard to change and reconfigure the system for a newer product or sequence of operations. It is natural that to configure it for a newer product. Now here you can see the robotic system is there, and this robotic system is responsible for the manufacturing of the bearings for the, I think, vehicles. So it is dedicatedly designed, but the system is automated. Okay, therefore new product or reconfigure of the sequence of operation requires a long setup. It cannot be reconfigured. Again, third one is the flexible and soft automation. Now, this automation system provides the automatic control equipment that offers great flexibility for making changes in the product design. These changes can be performed quickly through the commands given in the form of codes by the human operators. Now see here. Here you are giving the commands, and the command is in the form of a program that you will write. This automation allows the manufacturers to produce multiple products with different ranges as a combined combination process rather than a separate. And this is the complete, I can show you the example of a industrial control system or industrial automation system. And just give me 2 minutes. If a video is there, I will show you how the system looks like. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm getting with that video. Can you see this video? Can you see this video? Is it
No.
is it visible?
It's visible, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is
sir.
it visible? Now see, this is the system designed by one of our counterparts. It's a bottling plant of Pepsi. Now you can see how the automation is going on, and it's a combination of mechanical, electrical, electronics. Everything is going on here. And now the thing you have to notice is how the hammers are going on, how they are changing the shape, and how these crates these are being picked. Okay, now see here. See here how the hammer is coming and it is changing the shape. Have you seen this? Shall I repeat again? Now see this hammer, how this hammer is coming and it is changing the direction of the crates. See here. Now see this point. Oh, it has changed the direction. Now you can see the layers, the stack of the layers of the crates, which is being done by this hydraulics. Once it is on x-axis, once it is on y-axis. Means there is a 180-degree rotation between the crates, and you can see, and this hammer is playing the role how to rotating the crates. And the most important thing is to see here, whenever the whenever this arm it is coming downward, then it is picking a stack of almost 10, almost 10 crates it is taking. And how much pressure is need to be exerted so that it may not break the crates, and the optimum amount of pressure is applied so that the crates it may not fall down when it is going to lift it up. These are the things which needs to be planned. And how these are being planned, it is because of the sensors which are being you can say employed there at this arm. It is because of that. And what should be the speed of these crates, how fast the motor will run so that the crates are coming one by one, what should be the time period between these crates, so that it is not like that the crates it may fall one upon other at the receiving end. You can see all these things needs to be planned before you have to design a system. This is a live system we are showing you, not the live from the plant. This is the recording for our system. Now see how the spindle is blocking the crates. Now see the spindle, it is blocking the crates. Now you can well imagine how many persons would be required to operate this facility if this would not have been automated. Now with automation, only 5 to 6 persons they are doing this job. Otherwise this would have been done by hundred of people. Again, the arm which we are talking about, this is a kind of robot here. Robot is not a humanoid robot only which will walk like human beings. Everything which is doing mechanical work is a part of a robot. It's a sort of robot. You can call it as a robotic arm. Now from here you have to observe one thing. When the stack will be completed, how is it going to be transmitted to the next stage? Now see here, the stack it is going automatically towards the storage section.
हेलो।
हाँ जी सर, मैं दूसरी स्क्रीन, आई एम शेयरिंग अनदर स्क्रीन, आई एम
सर
गोइंग
ओके
टुवर्ड्स
सर।
माय पीपीटी.
ओके ओके।
Can you see PPT?
नो सर।
Just a wait, it is not even showing in my. Vijay ji, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
विजिबल है।
Is my screen is visible?
मैक्सिमाइज कर लो सर पीपीटी।
I am doing, sir. I am doing.
ओके सर।
Okay, now again come back to the theory part. Everybody has seen this video. Class, can you please?
Yes.
This is the actual work that is being done. Okay. Now you can see here, which I want to show you. There is one. This is the CNC machine. Bottom. There are four images, and the image which is at the bottom, extreme left. And this image is where this is the CNC machine. It is again a kind of robot which is drilling the holes into the PCB. You can imagine that the Gerber file being downloaded here, and from that Gerber file, the PCB it is drilling the holes into the PCB, and a stack of I think 10 PCB is there. Now, what are the various components of a industrial automation system? The very first component is PLC that we will study. Another thing is HMI. I will tell you what HMI is. Then SCADA, less or more we have talked about SCADA, DCS, IIoT, VFDs, variable frequency drives, motion control system, vision system, and industrial robotics. And in today's lecture, we will only focus on the PLCs and industrial robotics, because this entire work is a 6 months work, and we are providing the training for 6 months to the trainees who have completed their BTech, and it's a diploma oriented course where we teach all these counterparts. And if I request you all people, if you have your students are there who is going to be passed out, you can refer this course. Every in January every year we starts this course, and this course ends at June end, and from July it is to December. Now in January we are again going to start this course, and what I am told is most of the persons who have joined here, they are all from academics background. So it's my request to all of you, please click the pic of this, you can say, coursework, and you can share it where wherever your links and your credentials have, so that we may get the wide publicity for this course. And the success rate, I am telling you, Last year we have placed mostly 80% people in industry, and this year we will also try for this. So you can perpetuate this thing to the masses, and you can share it, and it is also available on the CDEC website. Thanks a lot for patience for hearing this thing, because we have to advertise our course also. Now see here. Now first thing is the PLC. This is the Omron PLC that I have taken. It can be any. We will talk who are the suppliers. And PLC is a miniature industrial grade computer that contains hardware software capable of being programmed to perform the control functions. Whatever the functions of your whatever the controls that need to be performed, it is being performed by a PLC. It's a type of computer. Okay. Next is, this is the general diagram of a PLC, where we have the input, I will say sensing unit, where the sensors are connected, then the input module. From input module, optical isolation is there because these systems are very rugged. It goes to the CPU, where in CPU it takes the decisions. The memory is there to store the data. Program memory is there for the program, whatever you have feed, and power supply. Mostly it operates on AC power supply as well as the 24-volt DC power supplies. And then is the output module. And from the output module, the outputs are being taken. Okay. Next is HMI. I think this we have not discussed in our previous PPTs. HMI is the human machine interface. It is nothing. It's a kind of display where this is LCD display, where you can display all your you can say data. Okay. In this, yes. Now HMI, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the PPT also?
Yes, sir.
Is there, class, tell me, is there some flickering in the screen on your side, or is it on my end?
Sir, there is no.
Everything clear.
Everything is clear to you?
We don't have any
Okay.
flickering, sir. We don't have flickering.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, flickering is
It's
on my
okay.
side.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, sir. Now, this is the HMI. It is a kind of LCD where whatever that sensor data it is coming, you have to see it somewhere. So where you can see, it can be any output display device. Output device can be LED or something like that. But to see it as as it like to your eyes, where the graphs can be plotted, where you can have the buttons to start or to stop, either physical buttons can be there, then these HMIs are used. Now HMI is user interface or dashboard that connects a person to a machine, system or device. Very true. While the term can technically be applied to any screen that allows a user to interact with a device, HMI is most commonly used in the context of an industrial process. Means it is used in the industrial process. Suppose I have a machine, I want to get the data of that machine. I am a supervisor of that machine. I want to get the data of that machine, how this machine is performing, what is its production, what is its rejection rate. Okay, so that data, where I do get, either I can get it on my mobile phone. If I'm not getting it on my mobile phone, then where do I get? It is the HMI which is being there installed at the machine, which shows the data. Okay, it offers graphical representation. Yes, graphs are there for controllers. Data acquisition modules are there. It can acquire it shows the data which is coming by using data acquisition modules. It also offer monitoring and controlling of process variables. Yes, through these commands you can give the commands can be given through HMI where you can control the pressure flow. It is similar as like to SCADA. There is no difference between SCADA and HMI, but the only both can act as a you can say display devices, but SCADA can handle more data. SCADA can do the data analytics. It can save the data, but in HMI you can't play with the data. In SCADA you can play with data. Okay. Next is this is the SCADA. Now see here what is the difference between HMI and SCADA. You can see here image where I have the complete picture of a plant. I have whatever the tanks I have, whatever the valves, everything is there. Okay, this is the example of some chemical plant. But now see here, because this screen is 7-inch screen, HMI screen is 7-inch screen, I can't display each and everything. Okay, for data which is smaller I can use HMI, but where I have to get the complete example of a plant, then I can use the SCADA system and I can save the data of each and every item on my system on my PC. Now, SCADA is a system software that is used for monitoring, analyzing, and controlling an industrial process. A SCADA system is capable of real-time monitoring and management of physical assets dispersed over very large geographical area. Okay. Now, its full form is it is written here. Supervisory means operators, engineers, supervisor they can do. Control means monitoring, limited telemetry, and remote or local. It can be remote, local. You have to monitor the data. ठीक है? At remote locations, that's why telemetry word is there. Data acquisition. Now you can get the data. Either it is digital, either it is analog. Everything is on your PC. Now IIoT. Somebody was saying that what is difference between IIoT and IoT? Both are the same. There is no difference. But the thing is that IIoT, if we can use say this is the standard that is used for industry purpose. And here, whatever the software you will get, you have to pay for it. Even the cloud services, even the sensors, even the networks, means whatever thing you use, whatever the you apply, you have to get the license. But in IoTs where you can use Arduinos, then you can, I think, you have one flexibility that you can the free cloud login. You have to only spend rupees 2000, mostly 2000 with the sensor kit of Arduino and Arduino. You can get the data on the cloud. But here it's a game of worth of lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. Okay, but once these things are installed, then you need not to look at them. Everything will work automatically for 30 years, for 40 years. Okay, so this is the main difference. IIoT, and second thing is how you develop the IIoTs. Every device has its own IP. If you give the IP of that device can be detected in the network, and based on that IP, the commands are being given. Now you can see here in the picture, we are using the SCADA system, management information system, okay, and networks is there are robots are there, everything is there, and the data it is on the cloud platform. Wherever you go in the world, you can get the information on the cloud, but everything has to be at the cost of money. You have to pay. IIoT refers to billions of industrial devices, anything from the machines in a factory to the engines inside an aeroplane that are filled with sensors connected to wireless network and gathering and sharing data. The advent of tiny low-cost sensors and high-bandwidth wireless networks now means even the smallest devices can be connected up, given a level of digital intelligence that allows them to be monitored and tracked, and can share data on their status and communicate with other devices. Okay. Next is the VFDs. Now, VFDs, it is the term which is used mostly for the motion or to control the motors. This is the variable frequency drives. VFDs are the means of controlling the speed of an AC motor. Now, typically an AC induction motor, it does so by varying the frequency of the power source. Now you have seen the industrial applications where the speed you have to speed the vary the speed of the motors or something, all these things. For that purpose, VFDs are there. Means VFD, it is a device which can control the speed of the motor, and these VFDs, it these VFDs, it controls the frequency of the source. If you vary the frequency, definitely the speed will vary. VFDs operate by switching output devices, which can be, now it can have the thyristors, IGBTs, and VFDs can be either constant voltage or constant current. It can be PWM also, pulse based also, where with the pulse you can control the frequency and the applied voltage. Constant VFDs can either constant voltage or constant current. Not only the frequency, you can vary the voltage and the constant current. Constant voltage types are most type of VFDs. It uses pulse width modulation to control both the frequency and the voltage applied to the load. Okay. Now we can see there are two things. Either you can vary the frequency or you can vary the pulse. Okay. And with that pulse, the how you can vary the pulse width modulation, you can change the duty cycle of that pulse. It can be 50-50, it can be 50 to 60, means T on and T off. If you vary, then the speed can vary. Now why use variable frequency drives? Why we are using? They are powerful way to control the speed of AC induction motors and fairly simple and easy to use. Among the benefits of VFD for motor speed control is the actual energy saving. Controlling the amount of current drawn by the motor can save a lot on energy cost, because the motor will not run at full current at all the time. Okay, now you can see, it's my perception that
कंटिन्यू करो सर.
अब
screen share होगी.
हाँ जी स्क्रीन आ गई सर.
Okay, okay, done. Now another thing is the motion control system. Now see here, I will correlate this topic with the video that I have shown you for that Pepsi plant. Just coincide what is there in this slide and what you have seen. Okay. Now see here, a motion control system is a straightforward concept. Means it is a straightforward. Either the thing has to go forward or reverse, left or right. But the main thing is, if it is going in forward direction, how much steps it has to take, and after how many counting of those steps it has to pick the crate, and again it has to go to some other position where after holding the crates it has to release the crates. Means this is the main thing which is very much important here. Otherwise everything is movable, and the angle at which angle the device is to be dropped. So all these things are a part of this motion control system. A motion control system is straightforward concept. Initiate and control the movement of a load to perform the work. They are capable of precise speed, position, torque control, and main thing is the torque control. Now suppose if I have to lift 20 kg of weight, then the gripper, it should be of such thing that it can lift 20 kg of weight. It is not like that. It is designed to lift 10 kg and you are making it to lift 20 kg. Then your pillars will collapse. Okay. An application requiring the positioning of products, synchronization of separate elements, or the rapid start and stop of motion are case examples for the use of motion control. Now see here, it can be velocity, it can be current loop, all these things that you have to design. Okay. Now this is the example of a motion control system. Okay, this is the servo drive, and this is the best example. And this servo drive, suppose if it is programmed to rotate the device for 10 meters, exactly after 10 meters this motor will stop. The difference between your VFD and the servo motor is only this, that whenever you switch off your VFD, your VFD motor, variable frequency drive AC motor, induction motor, your motor, it will take time to reach to its zero speed. Okay, but this motor, it will exactly covers distance of, it has to take, let's say in 5 rotations it will cover distance of 10 meter. It will exactly cover 10 meter distance in 5 rotations and immediately stop. It will not even cover a distance of 10.1 meter, 10.01 meter. This much accuracy this motor has. Next is the machine vision system. This is the facility which we have in our laboratory also. Here we are using a camera and a software is there. Based on that camera in the industrial plants, either you scan the barcode, either you scan the text, whatever it is, and based on that the action is taken by the PLC whether the, the sample is selected or rejected, whether it has also the image, whether the image where the cap is tightened, whether it is tightened completely. If it is not, then your piece is also going to be rejected. This is also a part of your PLC system. Last part is your industrial robotics. There are many robotics. I think I will leave this topic and we shall cover it in our last session where we will discuss some topics about the robots. There we will cover it. Now we will start with our PLC, the first part. Now this is the PLC, and I think we have everything we have discussed its definition we have covered. Now in the picture left hand side at the bottom, the green picture, you can see one industrial plant where this industrial plant, it is responsible for the counting of the boxes, and here you can see the control system is there. The control system is applied on this side. You can see my cursor, I think so, where it is red in color, and from here the boxes are going on and the IR sensors are there, and these sensors, it counts the number of boxes, how much production is there, and automatically it is going on the line. And the box, control box, it has the PLCs, it has the IO devices. A control system is completely paneled. Now advantages of PLC, you might have now, it is less wiring. Wiring between devices and the relay contacts are done in the PLC, easier and faster to make changes. Troubleshooting aids make programming easier. Reliable components make these likely to operate for years before failure. Okay. Now, if I go towards the PLC, the work started nearly in 1980s. Even before that, it was started, but the main PLCs, it came, the automation system came in 1980s. It has intelligent I/O modules, enhanced communication facilities, enhanced software, use of personal microcomputers as programming aids. There is some disturbance. In 1983, low-cost PLCs were introduced. 85 PLC and SCADA. PLC was integrated with SCADA software, and then as per NEMA standard ICS 3 in 1978, this standard came, and they again give the definition of the PLC: a digitally operating electronic apparatus which uses a programming memory for the internal storage of instructions for implementing specific functions such as logic, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic, to control through digital and analog modules various types of machines or processes. Now, this is the most important thing. There are various brands in the market. Generally, three types of brands are there: American, European, and Japanese. Okay, on American side, Allen Bradley, Gold Modicon, Texas, General, Westinghouse, Cutter Hammer, and Square. European side, if I talk about Siemens, Moller, and Festo, and another is Japanese Toshiba, Omron, and Fanuc Mitsubishi. Now, if we compare between these two brands, most top brand is Siemens. This is European brand and is designed by Germany. 60 to 70% of the market is covered by Siemens. Then Allen Bradley is there, and after Allen Bradley, then Toshiba, Mitsubishi, and Omron. All these Japanese, and Japanese are you can say less costly. They are cheaper as compared to the Siemens, but Siemens have their own advantage, and Siemens they have the wide network, and they share and they solve your problems as soon as you put it on their portal. Now these are the area of applications. You can read it out. Now this is the most important thing. I think if you want to uh, write it, then you can, because in last you have to give the answers of the questions. There will be 5 to 10 multiple choice questions. Then these things would be helpful to you. Now, small PLCs, it covers units up to 128 IOs and memories up to 2K. These PLCs are capable of providing simple to advanced levels or machine controls, have up to 2048 IOs, and medium size have 2048 IOs, and memories up to 32 kilobytes, and large have more IOs, 8192 IOs with memory of 750 kilobytes. There is some noises coming at back, and
Yes,
please,
yes, sir.
please
I request moderator, the
keep
one person ARD, they have left their mic unmuted.
somebody
Please,
has left the mic unmuted. Please, it's my request.
even the moderator also, they can mute themselves to everybody. I don't know. Moderator.
Vijay sir, can you please mute all those who are creating noise? Okay, we may continue because I have to cover all these things. And now we'll see here, this is a very basic example that I am taking. And this is the tank used to mix two liquids. And here I have used, there are two solenoid valves, A and B, and two pipes are coming. Now, what are solenoid valves? These are the valves which will be on when I will give them the signal. When I give the signal, then these valves will be on, otherwise it will remain in the off stage. Okay. And one floating switch is there which gives me the level of the liquid, or whatever the liquid at which level it is. And another motor is there which is used for the sterilization, which is used to mix both the liquids with the fan. And again, C solenoid valve is there. This valve will on and off when it gets the signal from the PLC. Here a timer operation is there. What this timer will do? What it depends on the programming. We will make the program like this, that either valve A, valve B, and valve C, we give them the timing when they will on, when they will off. Okay. So PLC will be programmed, and based on the level of this water, we may give the signals. It float switch give the signal to the PLC. If it is below the limits, if it requires the liquid to be filled, then solenoid valves will be open. If the liquid is required, we have to get out the liquid, then valve C will be open. This is a very basic, you can say, example of a PLC. Now here it is a major components of PLC. We have already discussed it in earlier presentation. Class now programming devices. It can be for Allen Bradley. You may call it as industrial terminal, and program development terminal for General Electronics, electrical programming panel for Gould Modicon, and programmer for SCARD, and program loader and programming console for Omron. And the devices which can be by which you can program it is handheld unit with LED LCD, desktop type CRT display, and compatible computer terminal. I think class, it's time to over the first session. We will continue the session and link it with your next session 1200 PLC. Okay. So we will be back. I think at it is at 2 o'clock. Whenever it is, we will be back at the session. Okay, and it is at 2 o'clock. We will continue, no problem. Okay.
Okay, sir.